All right, so LA. Just like every place I moved to, I always like to test it out first, or at least visit it. Just because I think that's smart. You know, it kind of gets you all pumped up. Not because I was trying to decide if I wanted to move to LA, because that decision had already been made. But I think it was more, I wanted to just get excited about it. And if you go and you get excited about it, then you're going to be so much more eager to move. Okay, so I went there and I specifically came here to meet an agent. And I actually got a card from a New York dancer that was on the train saying that they knew someone in LA and they're an agent, they're just starting a dance department. And I was like, I love to reach out. And so I reached out and they wanted to see me in LA. So that was inspiring and exciting. So yeah, I went to LA. My friend had already moved here from New York. That was also a great reason for me to come because I knew someone here I was going to be taken care of. I would stay with her for a little while and then I would get my own place. But yeah, I came and I met with the agency and I remember meeting them and some of the nicest, sweetest people. I'm still with them today. They really just represented me on the spot. They just loved my look, loved what I was doing. And I was like, this whole, you know, because, I didn't say this part. I remember when I moved here, I was really wanting to focus on television. And dance was kind of like, okay, I've done that. I want to move on because, you know, sometimes you just don't see yourself transitioning from a dancer to an actor. And so I wanted to kind of start in a new location, you know, with a new focus. Right. So I came here and I was like, okay, but they're so great with dance. And so with that said, I went to an audition that my friend was going to. It was for the TV show American Dreams. And I had gone, you know, I kind of crashed the audition. See, in New York, you could crash auditions and it would be okay. There would be so many people, but LA was a little more exclusive. But I kind of tiptoed on in there and I was like, let me just go in there and see how it feels to dance and move in LA. So at the end, the choreographer came to me and asked me, and I was a little nervous. I was like, why is she coming to me? Am I in trouble or something? She asked me if I was in a union. And I told her that I was equity for stage. And she asked if I was SAG, and I said, no, I mean, should I be? And she said, oh, no. She says, you know, you're such an amazing dancer. I love watching you. Do you live here? And so I told her that I was moving back. And so she said to me, when you come back, let me know. And I told her who I was signed with. She says, make sure your agency let me know when you're back. And it was my first job when I moved here. And so already moving to LA, I was eligible for the union. And I know that many people work so hard and it takes so much time for, you know, them to become union, and it just kind of fell in my lap like that. And not because I didn't work hard, it was because I was at the right place, the right time, meeting the right people. And so when I came back, I did the show American Dreams. It was amazing. She's such an amazing choreographer. It's a period show, so I love doing things. You know, I just come off of a period show, Harlem Song. This was fun. I was excited. This is LA. I'm already working. But when I got to LA, New York kept calling. And I'm like, well, I'm not in New York anymore. I'm in LA. I'm going to do the LA thing. And they just kept knock. And so I was called in for the show Fame. And although I was hesitant about going in, doing a show that was a stage show, you know, the show was for the lead role. So I said, okay. I'll go in if someone can see me here. So luckily they had I think the original music director lived in LA. And so they had her audition me. And they were seeing people in New York, and I ended up getting the job. And this was in Europe. So I was so excited to go back to Europe because I hadn't been since I was 16. And so I was going back to Europe. I was excited about it. Very interesting experience. It was very, very interesting. And I will tell you this. Because this was a replacement, someone was in the show, something happened, and so this was a quick, immediate replacement. When you go into a show especially with people you don't know, and you're the last person to come in and you haven't established relationships with people, and you're the star of the show and everybody's looking at you like, who are you? It can be somewhat challenging. And then you're in another country. Now, mind you, I'm in another country and I'm not under any jurisdiction. Like, my union doesn't really count there because I'm in another country, right? So it's non-jurisdictional. And there were some things that I expected and that did not happen, or I wasn't getting. Now, I will tell you this, not about being a diva, but when you've done a union show, there are certain things like breaks that you need to take. There are things like behaviors that people have to. Now, I was in a show with a lot of younger people. Not that I was not young, because I was young, but I was younger people who had never really worked before. And so this was the first time they had done a show, and we're in another country, and hey, you know, all that stuff. Now, when you're in Europe, especially during that time, you have stage crew that smoked, so you would like smell smoke on the stage. So there was a lot of stuff that I was not prepared for. Not to mention trying to learn the book at the last minute, singing, dancing, all of this stuff. And it was tough. It was an interesting experience, and maybe I'll have to do a separate video on this experience, but I did that. We got through it. I think it was like almost 4 months of work, and I came back to the US, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna be an actor. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me clarify that. I'm already an actor, but what I meant was that I was gonna give up dance and just focus on my acting, straight acting. All right, guys, where do we leave off at? Now, let me ask you this question for you makeup folk out there, if you do makeup. Have you ever tried to do an eye and have a conversation? That's why I have to do this video in segments. It's tough trying to do this eye, unless you're doing a tutorial and you're telling us, hey, we're doing this and doing that, but trying to recall a story is kind of tough. So, before y'all make me mess up my makeup, I'm gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna finish my story. I may have to do this in the part two, two-parters. All right, so, okay, so where are we? So we go to, I get back from Europe, and I'm auditioning, and things are going well. I'm getting busy here. Everything was like a roller coaster ride. I felt like I was busy. Oh, in a good way. Roller coaster meaning that, I don't know if that's the right analogy, but everything felt good. You know, I was busy going to here, going to there. And I always told myself that this is my last year for dance. This is my last year for dance, but dance just kept coming. So as much as I tried to escape dance, dance was not escaping me. I get back from Europe and I'm like, okay, no more dancing, no more dancing. I'm just going to be a straight actor. I'm going in for commercial stuff. That's it, you know, theatrical work, which is TV and film here. That wasn't happening. You know, I realized that we don't decide some of this stuff. It's destined to us. And dance has always been my bread and butter. So how can you give up something that really has been your passion for so long? So all of this stuff is happening. I'm busy, commercial callbacks. I was up for this McDonald's commercial. I was unavailed for that. And had I booked that gig, that would have been a fierce money-making year. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Moving on, other things were on the horizon for Delandis. So, I get a call from my agent. Hey, there's an audition for Wicked. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, I'm going to be honest about this experience. Because, and this is something I normally just tell my friends, or something that my friends know about me. But Wicked is, we know what Wicked is. It's an amazing show. It's Wicked, okay? So, but when it came to me to audition, I really wasn't interested. And the reason why is because I felt like every time I come to LA or I'm back in LA, I'm being taken away from LA. And that just wasn't a great feeling, because I felt like for me to move on, I need to give up some of these shows, some of these opportunities, some of these auditions. But my agent did say that, you know, the choreographer remembers me from New York and wanted to see me. And so I was like, okay, you go in. When someone wants to see you, you go in. But I think so. At some point, I didn't want to work hard for it. But again, if someone wants to see you, you let them see you. So I went in, and I remember learning the choreography and auditioning and all that stuff. And me, I'm the type of person where I love to celebrate other people. I love to celebrate other artists. I'm looking at this dancer and I'm like, oh, you fierce. You gonna get this. You gonna book this. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and hyping him up about, you know, what he's doing in the show, which he ended up booking the show. He actually ended up booking the first national tour. And so I was in the audition and did my thing, and I left. And then I get a call back. And then I decided, oh, well, I better get serious then if they really want to see me. They're calling me back for the show. And so let me just go ahead and get serious about this, because this is a great opportunity. And now at this moment, and I'm gonna tell you also too, at this point, I had met this writer who was writing on a Disney show, and I really wanted to position myself as a producer, an actor. I just wanted to do everything LA. And so when this opportunity came, I just wasn't feeling it. But through this, I realized that they were only seeing a couple of people on this callback, so let me get my stuff together. And I had a great audition, and I didn't end up getting the first. This was for the first national tour, I should say. I don't know if I said that before, but this is for the first national tour. I didn't get it. So I was like, okay, well, that was a great experience. I'm glad I had it. You know, the thing about it is when you audition for these shows, they kind of put you in their like little, you know, in the files. So they'll call you back if they want to see you again. So that's the thing. I was like, okay, I'll go in the files. You know, we'd be good. You know, fine. Then all of a sudden, maybe a couple of months later, I get a call from my agent, and they were asking me about my availability if I was going to be in New York to come and audition for, because someone was leaving on the Broadway show, and if I would come in and audition, but I wasn't going to be there. So at that point, it was like, okay, well, he's not going to be there. We'll let you know if something comes up. So I always felt like I was in line for the show in the future, but I just, at this point, wasn't, you know, too concerned about running and leaving LA. So it came up again. Is Delandis in town? Will he be in town? And the answer was no. So at this point, they wanted to see me actually the very next day. I think that was, the very next day. And, you know, I can't just get up at the last minute and just buy a ticket and go audition without a guarantee. And plus, at that time, I had 2 national callback auditions on the very next day. So it was either miss those auditions, fly to New York for something that's not guaranteed, or just, you know, if the opportunity comes up again. So the opportunity came up again. And I remember it was like, maybe like a month and a half had gone by. And my agent called me, and she was like, well, because I think a couple of days ago I asked her, I wonder what happened with Wicked. And so she says, you know, we had this conversation a couple of days ago. Well, guess what? They called and they wanted to offer you Chicago. And I was like, no auditioning? Do I have to? They just want to offer you Chicago. And I was like, okay. Let me talk to my people and see if this is something. Because again, I was, you know, putting together a show to take it to the networks to pitch it. And they thought it would be an amazing idea. So I said, yes, I will go away for 6 months and 6 months only to do Wicked in Chicago. So here we are, Wicked Chicago. But it wasn't an immediate leave, I don't think. I think they were mounting the show and all of that stuff. So I think maybe I had like maybe a month or so before I had to leave. So in the meantime, there's a famous choreographer. Her name is Fatima. You probably know her from a lot of stuff. If you're a dancer, you know Fatima. Fatima called me. She reached out to me regarding doing a workshop, because they were auditioning choreographers for the movie Dreamgirls. And Fatima had known me because I had auditioned. She was choreographing a show in New York with George C. Wolfe, yes, called Radiant Baby. So we had met there. And she knew my musical theater background, of course, and Dreamgirls is a musical. And so she reached out to me and asked me if I would be a part of this, and if I would do the character of James Thunder Early. Was it James Thunder Early? No, Curtis. It was Curtis. Who played the role in the movie, y'all? Tell me. Oh my goodness. Jamie Foxx. Yes, Jamie Foxx. She wanted me to do that part. You know, we did Step Into the Bad Side. Gonna take me. I need to stop singing songs. I don't know if it's copywritten. So she called me in and I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, like this stuff is starting to happen. Now, you know that if you are in entertainment, you know that every time, if you're about to go, when you're about to go away, something comes up, right? And you're like, goodness, am I gonna miss out on this opportunity? But, so yeah, so I did that for her and I was told that, hey, you know, when we shoot, if I get this, I'll reach back out. So I left to go to Wicked, and I've done so many videos, at least 2 videos on my experience in Wicked. So Wicked happened, and I do remember, let me go back a little bit. I remember, rest my friend's soul, I love her to death, she's no longer with us, but I remember Miss Marcia, actually Marcia's Tay Diggs' mom, Miss Marcia told me, because when I told her I was going in for Wicked, I told her, I said, I didn't really want to dance anymore like that. I really don't want to move so much. She told me, oh, it's not a big dance show. There's not much dancing. And I was like, okay, Miss Marcia. I ended up being the featured dancer in the show, yeah? And I never left that stage, especially during Act 1. The ribbon feature and One Short Day, the Emerald City, all that stuff was me. So it was a ride for 2.5 years. And the thing that I will always remember, and will never do this to myself again, is when you go away and you do a show, have that experience. Be present in that experience, because my mind was always on LA and what I was missing. Am I missing something in LA? You know, should I be in LA? You know, I never felt comfortable or settled being there in Chicago. And I felt like because of that experience, because of that, I missed out on a lot. And I miss Chicago to this day. And I just wish I'd been more present. I really, really do. Because Chicago's a great city once you know, kind of allow yourself to love it. It was, you know, interesting transition for me because, again, my mind was on LA. So anyway, Dreamgirls never happened for me. It just never happened. But I enjoyed the movie and all that good stuff. So moving along, we do Wicked for 2.5 years. I'm trying to stretch this out, but you know, I'm just talking to you guys and not really focused on my makeup. So let me let me get a little further in my makeup because I want to keep going. So we left Wicked, we left Chicago, and I was like, I am officially done with dance. No more dance. I am done. Let's move on. We're back in LA. I'm excited about it. And I started pitching shows. I was pitching kids programs and kids shows to Disney and other kid networks. And so yeah, I was like on my way to become a producer and all that stuff. And the thing is that I always said it like this. Getting a show on air is almost like winning the lottery. But it was a great opportunity, great experience, and I formed so many relationships that, you know, that has allowed me to, recent years, go back and pitch to those same people. So that was always fun. But yeah, dance has stuck with me. I actually started teaching dance at a professional studio when I got back, Debbie Reynolds Dance Studio. So that started my burlesque journey. That started all this is how I got to where I am now, with all this makeup and doing the heels and all that stuff. I was taking class, and then I inherited this West African dance class from my really good friend, and I started teaching West African. And now, if you guys don't know, Debbie Reynolds Dance Studio was one of the big studios here and very recognized internationally. And so to be able to teach as a choreographer and as a teacher at one of those studios is like a huge deal. So I was really excited to have this opportunity, and so I started teaching. And then burlesque came in when my friend Mike Gamble, who was teaching it, moved away. And so I took on the burlesque class, and that's when I really started to live. You know how you find, if you're a dancer, you know how you find that dance style that just really resonates with you and you just kind of stay into that lane? Now, I do miss my ballet classes. I miss all that stuff. I miss 5, 6, 7, 8 in that way. But I just love working in heels, and because it's different, it was able to, you know, with my experience in musical theater, it has allowed me to be able to, you know, work outside my comfort zone. I'm very proppy. I love using props, all that cool stuff. So that's how I got into, you know, burlesque. And now, mind you, you watch and you study people who are in this style and you start to form your own style. Now, I do call my stuff more burlesque-y because I feel like I'm more on the elegant side with it as a dancer, as a choreographer. But it's also too not traditional burlesque. It's almost, it has a modern feel to it. It just allowed me to kind of really come into myself as a choreographer. I love hip hop, I love all the other stuff, but burlesque has really been something that, you know, has afforded me to travel to other countries, and it's just been a, you know, huge blessing. So yeah, burlesque became my thing. I've been able to travel, but I will tell you that burlesque is, I had to really come into myself with this style. Of course, you know, there's the wonderful aspect of it, the aspect of being able to express yourself in a different way that you wouldn't normally, especially being a guy. But also too, that kind of comes with stigmas too, you know. People tend to pigeonhole you, or they put you in this spot, they put you in this box. I can't tell you how many people come to me, or would come to me in the past, and ask me, oh, do you do other styles? Do you just do burlesque? And I'm like, well, I didn't start just doing burlesque. When I started dancing, I wasn't on a ballet bar with heels on, you know, doing, you know, this type of movement. No, of course I do. So it was something that I had to kind of, you know, really wrap myself around. And when I started doing that, then I felt like these opportunities in this world of burlesque started happening for me, because I can't be a person that tries to teach confidence about a certain style, but also too don't feel confident with other people seeing me do it. And a big reason that it was tough for me to, at that time, to express myself in video doing this style was because I have a kids company. And it took me a moment to really kind of realize that who cares? Like, people don't care. I have parents who know that I do burlesque and they love it. And I realized the only person that had an issue with it was me. I'm a dancer, I'm a creator, I'm an artist. Why should I be embarrassed to do something that's art, right? So y'all, that's my journey as a dancer. You know, I'm still creating, I'm still figuring it out. And as much as I've tried to run away from dance in the past, I don't know if it's something I'll ever really get away from unless I can't move anymore. I think it'll always be with me. I think I'm stuck with dance, guys. So the question is, should I be a dancer? The answer is, yeah, I've always been a dancer. I've always been a mover. I will tell you that I never could imagine when I took my first dance class, when I became confident enough to take my first dance class, that I would be where I am now. Because again, music was my life. That's where I was supposed to live. I was supposed to live in the music world, not in this world. And people made sure they let me know that this was not the world I was supposed to live in at the very beginning of my process. But you don't listen to things like that. You do you believe in yourself, and you stay true to who you were meant to be. Now, I will say there's another chapter. Look at what I'm doing now, which is a makeup. Yeah, so that's my story. I feel like this video was like very rambly. I guess I'll figure that out when I edit this. I have to get used to the whole talking while doing my makeup that has nothing to do with the makeup that I'm doing. I can do a get ready with me if I am telling you guys what I'm doing. But really talking to you and being free about it, this stuff is a little tough. It's tough. Okay, so what I am going to do is I am going to finish this face. I'm going to come back and wrap up everything, put a nice little bow tie on what we talked about. And so I'll see you back beautiful. And voila, I am finished. Just a simple lip. Nothing too crazy, just a little nude lip. The eye is dramatic, so there you go. We're just gonna stop there with that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I rambled about my dance experience and my dance career. And of course, I didn't touch on everything because this video seems like it's gonna be long enough. But I've been so blessed to be able to have had the opportunities that I've had. Oh, and I didn't even talk about like the television stuff and yeah, so yeah, maybe that's another video. But yeah, it's been a great opportunity for me. So I am so happy that I became a dancer. Didn't even know that was in the cards for me at the very beginning, but you know, you never know. Something that started out being just fun for me to do became a career. And it's led me to you guys. So thank you so much for being here with me. So listen, I need to go and shoot my tutorial. I hope that you're going to be here for Dance Tutorial Tuesday. It's going to be a fun one. Well, it depends on, well, this video will probably come out after. But just remember, I'll always have some dance tutorials on Tuesday. So if this comes out after this one, you can always go back and watch the other one. You know whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, guys. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel and press that bell notification so that you may get any notifications for any videos I may upload. I love you guys as always. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you soon.